Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way! And today we'll be opening up the Kingsong 18L and checking its quality from the inside. So, let me tell you more about it. Wrong Way! First up, also big thanks to Voltride for providing me this wheel for testing purposes, and if you want to get a wheel like that or any other EUC in Europe, feel free to check the link below and use my coupon code. I also do receive kickbacks from these orders, so you also support the channel in that way. And first up, you can already see that adhesive doesn't hold really well to the shell of the 18L. The white version does have a different structure, so if you want to have a better piece of plastic to adhere to grip pads or like Velcro, then get the white one. The black one, just with the Velcro that I was using, wasn't really the best. The foot plates are standard Kingsong XL foot plates, not too big, not too small. The grip tape is rather meh after especially 4,000 kilometers. So if you want to do a upgrade, here is like a 3D printed insert from EUC Clubhouse. So this is a cheap and simple way to upgrade the grip of your foot plates or get some Nilla Nove. This is the state of the art, and those both things will improve your ride dramatically. Also decrease foot fatigue as it goes for my experience. Nevertheless, let's start the disassembly, and for that we don't even need to take out the pedals. And on the side of the wheel there aren't really any screws visible. That's because 3 of them are under the side pad. A bit annoying, you have to take this one out because it's not velcroed in place. Another 5 are behind the black plastic housing, which is a little bit see-through, which also houses the LED strips. It's fairly easy to take it out. You just need a pry tool like a pick or something else made out of plastic, and then it goes out relatively easy. There we can also find a plug for the LEDs, which is easy to take out, and the wire is long enough to not make this process any sort of fiddly. All of the screws are relatively small and they don't have any Loctite, and they're Phillips heads. I'd rather see some hex heads, and of course Loctite would be great to have. I think their size could be increased too. And as we're going to have a lot of screws, I'm going to use this organizing tray from EUC Clubhouse. Thanks for that. Yeah, the stand is also from EUC Clubhouse. The last 2 screws that hold the shell in place reside behind the small pad for your foot. Then I wanted to just take the side of the shell out, but I've encountered a bit of resistance. And this is because Voltride used quite a bit of silicone goo to just make this wheel really water resistant. So then I needed to take a pick and also some other tools to slowly pry the side of the shell open, which was not an easy task. Nevertheless, I did it. So we opened up the left side of the wheel now, yes, left side, and everything inside is very, very clean. Like there's a plastic box for the battery, which is really nice, and the battery is also connected here with those small screws, but they're still there. Here, 4. We have a metal brace instead of plastic for the trolley handle, and on the bottom here you can see the nifty lift switch, how that works. Turns on the lift switch. So also quite a bit of room inside. Here we have the speakers, and Voltride actually put some silicone around here just to make sure that nothing goes in here through the speaker. So that's a bit of a flaw here. This could be done better, but yeah, the motherboard is either way on top, and I don't think there's any reasonable easy way to get in there with water, so not too shabby, but yeah, this could be improved. But I think also the water can get out here. So there's a fair bit of dust here, especially here in the bottom. You can see that water can get in here, but it also already goes out, so it doesn't go up higher. But yeah, I guess this could be also done a bit better. Here we have some logic for the lift switch. And yeah, so here are also the LEDs for the here are also the connectors for the LEDs, and everything goes in here. So the compartments are fairly connected, but not as bad as on Guads with the motherboard on the bottom. Here we also have a very nifty thing, because here we have the phase wires for the motor. So you don't actually need access to the motherboard to get the motor out. You just need to disconnect this and the battery wires, which are these XT, not XT, how are they called? XM, TM, I don't know, I'll have to look it up. You have to disconnect those plugs, this plug, and you can get the motor out with the L hangers, with the screws that connect the L hangers to the shell. And you also even don't need to get the pedals disassembled for that, which is really nifty. So yeah, let's get on with it. Also this sign, really important. Also some better info here on the side, but this is nowhere near to a UL2272 certifies a product like, for example, the Xiaomi M365. In the small holes on each side, we can see the modules for the lights, and both the front and the back light is a front and back light, both red and white. I would like to see maybe a bit more I know, plastic there, just some modularity, but this is what we get here. This is also not a newest product, it's from 2019. Maybe it could need a overhaul. I think that a 2022 version of this wheel would be really nice. With that said, to get access to the motherboard or to change the wheel, we actually need to open up the other side too. So it's the same deal. We open up the side covers and get the screws out. This time though, there was a lot of silicone on the side of the shell, and there was so much silicone, or I don't know, adhesive, adhered to the speaker housing that I removed the speaker and broke off the plastic housing of it from the shell. So be careful not to put too much of this, you know, water resistance thing into the wheel. So here on the other side, we sort of see the same thing mirrored. This is the 20S4P pack, so 2 parallels per side. And we have the 18XL, which has like more dotted around here. Yeah, here the Hall sensor cable, I guess. So yeah, as said, you don't need to have access to the motherboard to change the wheel or the tire, which is cool. You do need to take both halves of the shell out for that. But I guess it's still better than having those wires here on the motherboard, which we'll take a look at in a second. I will also take a look at the screws here. I would like those to be hex screws. Those are just Phillips heads, but let's see if there's any Loctite in there. So pretty beefy screws in there, but sadly no Loctite. Maybe they're doing it now on their newest batches maybe, but here they didn't, and that's really sad. Although all of those seem kind of strong, but maybe that's also after the service at Voltride. So yeah, Loctite needed here, there is none. Also the beeper here is in this spot, pretty close to the shell. It is audible actually in most cases, but maybe it could have also a small speaker hole, like the speaker holes for the speakers. But still not too bad. To get access to the motherboard, I needed to remove another 4 screws per side Phillips heads to lift the tightly assembled top cover of the EUC. In the meantime, I also took one metal screw out from the trolley handle to take the cover out easier. So now we have access to the motherboard, and this looks all fairly nice. We see that the phase wires here are just soldered into the motherboard somewhere here, yeah. So there is no additional connections. You have to disconnect the motor wires or the battery wires also. These are the battery wires, sorry. These are the battery wires. They're also soldered in, and the motor wires are, let's see. Oh, they're going in here. So they're going in here. Let me just focus. There. We can see 3 capacitors, each 100 volt. 1000 microfarad. By comparison on Guads we have now 160 volt and 560 microfarad. Don't really know what's up with that, don't know the specs, but hey, that's what we get here. And they're also cooled. See, they're under a radiator. How they should be actually. And yeah, then we have also the heatsink here on the bottom. I'm not really sure if it goes down also into the wheel well. I'll have to check a unboxing for that. I'm not really in the mood for taking everything out here. But apart from that, everything looks good. Let me just really quickly turn on the LEDs. So now you can see that all of the motherboard is actually coated with, you know, a anti-conducting layer, which is important. So you have no shorts, even if like some water were to come in on the top. I think there should be an additional cover because that's the only thing on the top preventing, you know, anything going in. So another cover would be maybe really cool. And here we can also see the fuses, which we also get in the box, I believe now with King Song. So that's really cool too, the fuses. And yeah, everything here just looks fairly neat, fairly well assembled. You can tell that it's not like the newest product because, you know, there's no motherboard cover. All of the compartments are still a bit connected. So it's not like, I know, the best in terms of waterproofing. And we could see that there was a lot of DIY involved to make it better waterproof. But if you just ride it usually, casually, and you don't like flip it around all the time, I don't think there should be any issues with that riding in rain. Pretty clean, well assembled. Every cable also zip tied, goes into each compartment. Here is the other compartment, splits off. So yeah, that's that. Pretty solid. Really quickly, one of the downsides maybe here is that we have just 6 MOSFETs there under there. Maybe I can show it through here. Boom. So here are the MOSFETs. Usually, like the Kingsong 16X has 12 of those. So that's a bit more powerful. That's also how it can get more power safely. It can still ride 50 kilometers an hour. So I guess not the most powerful wheel here, but still solid for everyday riding. And the 18XL is even more powerful than that. And also, as you can see, the trolley handle compartments, they are here around this seal, so nothing gets in here. Everything on top here is very, very clean. And sadly, I didn't record that, but this like snaps into place. So even if there's like no screw in here, everything is very tightly assembled, which I like a lot. So to sum it up, the 18L was fairly easy to disassemble and a tire change wouldn't be so difficult either. Well, there's no quick tire change, but no EUC yet does have one. Waiting for you, Recio wheel. In terms of the components, everything looks pretty correct. There's a plastic housing for the battery. Of course, the electrical layout is also good. There's no hot charge port. The BMSs are communicating with the motherboard. So yeah, I think it's just a correctly done wheel with, I know, some smaller kings which could be upgraded with a 2020 version. I would love to see that with a 18 by 3 inch tire King Song. I think that would be a really good selling wheel. So yeah, even in today's standards, 2022, I think that the 18L or 18XL doesn't really lag behind a lot. I think it's still a pretty solid product. So if you're still here, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.